Hello, Thomas, Danilo, Terry. Happy New Year. So we're gonna start in just a minute. It's really great to see you guys. Alright. So I had a little bit of new setup, and this setup, you actually gonna see me here. So I set the camera right in front of my easel so you can see my dumb face. So I thought this will make things a little bit more personal. Now I can hide it if I wanted to, so just in case if in any situation it might get in the way, I'll hide the camera. But yeah, I just thought that this might looks a little bit more interesting to actually see me in person. And if you're new here, if you are watching from replay, welcome, and I hope you subscribe and like the video and share the video if you want to. And we will just get started. Hi Nancy, Cisco, and Carrie. Alright, so this is the painting. This is the reference that we're going to paint. Actually, this photo is taken in Wyoming. It is a photo taken by my good friend Mukul Soman. He is a wonderful wildlife photographer, and I strongly suggest you go check out his work. I will put the link down below after I'm done with the live stream. Now, he took this in Wyoming, and I thought this might be a very great subject for watercolor. And I actually asked him that, well, do you see any wildlife there? Because that's the purpose of his trip. He wanted to take some wildlife photos. So he take this photo, and I just asked him, well, I asked him if I can use it for painting. He said, sure. And I asked him that if he actually see any animals there. And he said he did. And I actually see a line of elk in the distance. So I thought that's very, very interesting. So I will try to put some elk, the little elk in the distance, along with the house, the cottage, and the trees. So I thought that might be a very interesting thing to look at. So without further ado, let's just get started. So I'll get started with the drawing, and so I'll leave the webcam on for now, but if you get tired of my dumb face, let me know. I'll just turn it off. Okay. But yeah, I think as I going to start to do more detailed painting, I will turn it off just so that it's not going to distract you guys. Okay, so anyway, so we'll still start with a drawing. Now it's a relatively simple painting, but I am going to try to keep things. I'll probably recompose a little bit here and there. All right, here we go. So I will start with just blocking out the house here. Now the house is tiny in the photo. I do think I want to make it just a little bit bigger so it looks intentional. If it's like this tiny, like super small, it's gonna lose that sense of scale actually. Now in this photo that he took, he wanted to create a sense of scale by comparing how small the house compares to the hill behind. But I think for our purposes, we'll make the house just a little bit bigger so the scale is actually a little bit more relatable. Okay, so there's a little bit hill back there, actually a little bit taller because I make the house bigger. So a little bit taller here. Happy New Year from Saudi Arabia. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for joining me. Okay, and then there's another house here. Well, not a house, the hill goes way here and it comes down, and there's another hill behind it right here. Okay, so you might notice that I moved the house a little bit to the left rather than more in the middle here. It's mostly for composition purposes. So here's a little bit of tree here. which will be a very nice element here for us to paint. Another tree and another one here. Quite tall, these trees. Okay, another small cottage right next to it, a little bit higher up actually. Okay, and then we'll have our just a little bit of slope here created by snow. And here is our, well, I don't think it's horizon, but it's where the ground stops and the mountain begins. And then let's have a little bit of bushes and stuff here. I'll mostly do it with the brush, and here's a shadow coming across like that. I really like that shadows, and so it feels like there's that little pocket of light. It's around sunset time, and the sun is probably somewhere just right on the left there, like sun is right on the left, so the shadow is probably really shooting really long, but it's covered by it's behind the slope of the snow, so you don't really see it that much. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna make the drawing just a little bit darker so you can see it a little bit better. Here's our hill here. Okay. Hi from Australia. Hi. Hi from Okanagan, British Columbia. I just came back from Victoria. Well, not just came back, I was there about like a week ago. Okay. Alright, now let's see if we can have a little bit of detail there. I just changed to a motor tripod head so I can have a little bit smoother panning, and it will save me some time. So I'm really happy with some of the new setup, and I'm actually going to upgrade another thing, so whenever I switch the camera, you're not gonna see that weird green color just popping up the whole screen, scaring you, thinking you're like your computer break or something. Okay, so a little window here and another window here. I think that's the porch or something. I'm not sure where the person get in, probably on the side here, but okay. But still, it's a small house compared to the whole painting. All right, and there's another house there. Now, judging by the photo, it's actually a little bit higher up, so make sure that's in. Doesn't have to be super accurate as a landscape, but yeah. See, notice this side of the house is so dark, so shadow because the sun is hitting from the left. Okay. Trees here. I also moved this house a little bit closer because the other, in the photo, the house is all the way here. So I did change the composition around to fit this painting a little bit better. Okay, so some stuff on the mountain, I'll worry about that a little bit later. I really don't need to paint. I really don't need to draw details for the mountains here. Okay, alright, let me grab an eraser. Hi, Jennifer. Hi. Okay, now I'm nervous. Okay. Yeah, the photo's taken by my friend, not me. It's a photo of Wyoming. And I saw it's a very beautiful photo, so asked if I can paint it. And he said yes. So I love when I'm able to kind of collaborate with other people. Okay, so I think this will be it. It'll be a very, very simple painting, so I'm not going to do too much drawing on it. And oh, I almost forgot, just because it's not in the photo. So I'm gonna actually draw some elk in it. So I think, okay, let me switch the camera again. So I think I will probably put them around here to set it as a balance here. So maybe a little bit closer down here. So let me see here. Okay. Yeah, so probably down a little bit here. So they are. So I'll probably just paint a few, not too many of them, and they're small, so not a lot of details. But hopefully, with that little, is that horn? I don't know, or is that like a different name for the things on their head? Shouldn't be horn. Horns for the cows. I don't know what's it called for the elk. So 2 elk kind of grazing here, and I will paint another one probably standing. Yeah, I'll have one like here, so maybe just a little bit bigger, and this will be a little bit more detail. I do have a reference on the side here because I thought that I'm not really familiar with elk, so I am grabbing another reference of an elk in the snow here. So hopefully be better. Oh, antler. Yeah, antler. So does antler also work for insect as well? So like ant has antler, those thingy. Sorry, English is my second language, so there's some vocabulary I am not too familiar with. So I don't know if it works for insect too. But anyways, well. So the back leg here, we need to make sure we have that kind of curve like this. Okay, but here I think that antler is really gonna give away that this is for. Okay, this is for. This antler really gonna give away that these are elks. Okay, so 1 kind of standing here, 2 grazing, then I might have an. They probably won't stay that close to the house though, but I think I will maybe have like a smaller one here. Yeah, 2 smaller ones. So now this start to feel just a little bit more alive because of the things that we have here. Now, okay. I think that. Okay, we'll go with that. I kind of feel like the owl might be a little bit too big. Can cut it down just a little bit here. We can cut it down with when we're painting a little bit later. Okay. Hey, Mukul. Well, he's here, and the guy who took the photo is here. All right. So without further ado, let's just start painting. I don't want any further delay. Let's get to the fun part. Okay. Drawing is always a little bit dry to watch, but I try to include that because it is a very important part of the painting. So, all right. You might notice I clean my palette because I saw it as a new year. Maybe I'll start by cleaning my palette here. So palette is clean. Alright, I'm gonna hide my face. I think you see enough of me. Unless you somehow want to see me again. Alright. So for this one, The sky is really, really blue because the sun is about sunset time, so the sky color is really saturated. Alright, so I'm just gonna grab a good amount of cobalt blue. So I'll try to make the color for this painting just a little bit more intense compared to most of my other paintings. So yeah, nice and blue here. Look at that. So I really want to keep that wonderful intense color. Okay, and as it comes down, let me grab a little bit of yellow ochre. Okay, so a little bit less saturated, more neutral gray here. Okay, so but still wet enough for me to make a nice clean wash here. Okay, I'll give a little bit of alizarin crimson, actually get a little bit of purple in it. Oops, sorry. Okay, so here I am going to skip, well, not skip, I'll paint around the mountain here. Okay, I'll try to stay a little bit loose here. Don't want that wash to get dry. Okay, so we got a nice gradation here. And now if we look at the photo, there's some cloud in it, so I want to paint that in. It will be a little bit of a risk that I will take it, see if it work. So I'll mix a nice intense color, still a little bit cool but more towards neutral, so a little bit of burnt umber. That's okay, a little bit drier mixture, and just kind of get that cloud in. Okay, there's no way we can mimic the nature, so just a little bit of suggestion on that. I think that will be enough, hopefully. Okay, so a little bit bluer down here. Okay, while it is still wet, okay, so it becomes like a nice soft edge, nice soft shape. Okay, it's a sunset cloud, so we want to keep it soft. Okay, all the way down, because the clouds behind the mountain, so I don't want to be all of a sudden got cut off. Now I'm gonna clean my brush and I'm gonna bring this over like so. Okay, so I'm gonna soften this one. I actually don't want a very defined edge for this. These are the mountains, okay, but if you look at the photo, there's a little bit of cloud kind of covering up the mountains here, and I actually like that a lot, so I will try to keep a little bit of that there. I'm just gonna put some cloud back in. Okay, and the best thing I can do in this case is just don't touch it. Like, just don't touch that at all. Okay, grab a brush and let's mix a nice warm color, a little touch of orange, yellow ochre, a little orange, and a bunch of waters actually, and keep it transparent. Let's see. Okay, little bit more saturated. Okay, just like that. Okay, keep it nice and light. Okay. And this, because the house is actually darker than the mountain, we'll just paint over that. So not to worry. And we'll continue that wash down actually, so it kind of just got merged in. Maybe a touch of orange, and yeah, give it a little bit warm here. It's sunset. The sunlight is really warm. I actually find it interesting that most of the time, the sunlight in the winter is very nice and warm. It got a very pleasant look to it, even though the weather is really cold. The sunlight actually always feels warmer. I don't know if it's psychology or actually that's what happened in the nature. Okay, so I'll try to be careful not to touch the sky there, so I'll leave a little bit of gap there. Okay. Okay, so a little bit warmer, a little bit redder, so I'll use a little bit of burnt sienna. Burnt sienna and yellow ochre, and I am just going to do this one stroke going that way. Okay. So I really like the colors, a little bit warm and some cool because of the shadows and stuff. So I will try to mix both. So I'll mix some cool values here. Hello there. Hi Ken Chen. Okay, so a little bit of cool here. Wet onto wet. So perfect time to play with the color. Okay, back to a little bit of warmth here. I'll do some quick brush strokes, so there's a little bit of incidental highlight there. So if we look at, sorry for that green here, so look at all this little stuff, those are magic. I'll leave those, and those can turn into some pile of snow that's catching light. Let me actually zoom it out a little bit. The color looks a little bit better on this camera, which is another thing, like after I do my upgrade, I'll be able to color correct the camera separately. So the live stream in this year hopefully will be very, very good. The quality will be even better. Okay. Now, I'll avoid to get the color too muddy, so I'm gonna just not to mix a lot of color this time, and get some cobalt blue in. I'm trying to be faithful to the picture, especially the color wise. I want to keep that nice, saturated, beautiful, intense color there. Oh, thank you. Like honestly, this is not done yet. It's not done painting. I'm done working on it, but watercolor is not done doing its stuff. So I definitely need to kind of leave it alone for the time being. And yeah, I think right now the first wash is done. I think the best thing I can do is to leave it alone, although I don't want to wait for everything to dry naturally, so I'm gonna use hair dryer. So I will mute. Okay, so I blow it dry, and I didn't bother to dry the bottom because I'm not gonna paint on that just yet. I'll work on the mountain first and work my way down. Okay. Grab my Kolinsky brush. Okay. Actually, let me grab a bigger brush first, and then I'm gonna use a little bit of ultramarine blue, a little bit cooler blue here. Okay, just some blue colors here, and there's a shadow cutting across here. Okay, and that is something that I actually wanted to paint. So I think, okay, I'm gonna re-wet this area. Soon you will see why. Okay, just the edge right here. Okay, and then, okay, nice and steady. Let's go into it. Go into the wet area like that. Okay, I have the shadow follows the form of this mountain here. Okay. You see what happened here? It becomes soft because there's like a cloud in front of it. Okay, I'm gonna take that out, and then I see I'm gonna soften this just a little bit. It's like a 90% dry damp brush. So just a little bit more inches here. I don't want everything to be super hard edge. A little bit softer down here as well. Okay, so that kind of blends into the background. And I'm gonna mix some dark warm gray color. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Thanks, Mukul. Okay, so mix a nice dry mixture. Make sure it's dry, okay? You don't want the mixture to go over the place, so tip of your brush. And just give it a little bit of detail in there. A little bit cooler, actually. And I'm just gonna show you what does it look like. So just wet onto wet, a little bit of foliage, trees, whatever. Okay. It's purely impressionistic because there is no way I can reproduce the nature better than a camera. So I am just going to try my best to iterate that. Okay. I'm gonna take that out like that. Okay, so there's some dark grass here. Okay, actually in here is a little bit cooler because it's in the shadow. Those bushes, as it comes out, gets a little bit warmer because the sun is hitting it. So there. Okay. Get some nice dry brush stroke in. Okay, some quick ones, some dry brush work on the side of my brush, pulling up like that. So and I think I'll do that while it is wet. I'm gonna drop some darker color on the bottom here, and when I do this, that's going to give those bushes some volume. So now it feels like there's some thickness going on. Oh yeah, I'll keep the live stream there, no problem. Okay. Let's work on the tree while we're at it. So I'm gonna add a little bit of cobalt turquoise, but I'm mostly going to keep it nice and warm just because the color. And very easy. Just pull some brushstroke actually a little bit warmer. I'm gonna try to push the color a little bit more in this piece. So push, just kind of push the brush like that. Use the side of it. And let the texture of the paper do some of the work for you. And a little bit here. Here we go. And there. I'm gonna grab some burnt umber and some nice dark, and with the tip of my brush, I'm gonna get that branches in. There we go. Very lightly, kind of very delicately put. Okay. Be the conductor of your painting. What kind of shape and what kind of feeling do you want your shape to be? Is it big, strong, and bold, or is it thin, light, and delicate? Okay, those are the questions that you want to ask every brushstroke count. I have one here, a little bit here, there. There, we got ourselves a tree. To take the word from my hero, Bob Ross, there's one happy little tree here. Thank you, James. Just let the watercolor do the work. Some wet onto wet, a little bit of volume down here. And then a little bit here. Here. All right. Okay, I think I'll do just one more stroke here. Make it a little bit fuller. Oh, I can almost see the sun now. Almost feel the sunlight now. Okay, so similar things here. Just some quick keep your brushstroke to the minimum if possible. Don't do little dabbing like this, okay? Don't do that. Just look at the shape and try to build that shape up. See the tree as a group of shape. Okay, leave a little bit of white. Okay. That tree almost touches the sky. Okay. I see a little bit of purple behind this tree, and it almost kind of blends in, so I'm gonna see if I can try. It's a risk, but I will try it anyways. So a little bit of purple here, and I'll have that blend into the tree right here, so they kind of just blend in together. Okay, clean water, dry my brush a little bit and soften that so it disappears. Yeah, okay, I think that's looking fine. I'll come back to it and just bring some color of the tree back here. Okay, if any of you guys have questions or thoughts, always feel free to talk to me. I have your chat open right next to me, so if you want, you can talk to me. Any question or stuff. Except for New Year resolution, because I don't really have any. Not that I'm against New Year resolution, but I know I'm not gonna keep it, so just not make any. And just try to live every day to the fullest as I can, to the best of my ability with a full-time job and 3 kids, so alright. Okay, some more darker brown here. Okay, I need some more punches, so I'm just gonna grab some burnt umber straight. Not gonna dip my brush back into the water, so it's nice and thick. And down here, this part needs to be especially dark, because it's in the bottom of the wood, and this should be dark. So there's a lot of shadow gathering down here. A little bit. There we go. Thank you. Well, I'm glad you joined me. I love doing this live painting because I get to interact with you guys, and on the personal side, it saved me a lot of time editing the video. So, but yeah, I cannot fast forward any of it, so the video will usually be a lot longer than a lot of people can take. But I think at this point, it's probably the best thing I can do for the time being. So, okay, this needs to be a lot darker. I need to be there to go dark, so before this wash is dry. Okay, now, and I also need to work on the edge right here. So it's a nice flat edge. Well, not flat, but there's a little bit defined edge down here. Okay, I feel it's losing some colors here. Gonna put some warm color back. Okay, this is overwork. I need to stop. Okay, take a little bit from that, and I'm just gonna put some tiny little details on the mountains. Okay, some dark bushes that's not covered by snow. Okay. A little bit there. I might do a glazing a little bit later, but I might not. I'm not sure. I will see a little bit later if I would do that, because I do like how bright it is. So okay. Get that. Okay, some nice and dark details here. Okay, not to be really careful not to overdo this thing. Okay, lighter value, and I'm just gonna do some more transparent textures here. Okay, now there's a shadow cutting across here like that, so I'm gonna put that in. I'll actually use another brush to do that. Okay, nice and blue, and let's do it. Just go across like that. Now I really need to preserve this, okay? If I paint over that, I'm not gonna get those back. So I need to be quite careful with that. So a little touch and preserve the shape over here. And that's one of the downside painting watercolor, especially if you want to preserve light. It's a little bit awkward to paint it like this because the, how should I say, because you cannot paint the light back unless you use wash. Okay, yeah, I put music there for purpose, as so that there's also something else to listen to other than my voice. And to avoid awkward silence. Because sometimes when I get a little bit more focus, I tend to start to not talk as much. Okay, I'm gonna use my finger to grab some of the paint in. Okay. There we go. And some dark bushes here. Transition into the shadow. Here we go. Yeah. Gives you a better idea how well your paper washes, yeah. Although I need to admit that I am not a really fast painter. Yeah, there are people who just paint so fast. It's unbelievable, and they paint fast, but their painting turns out really good as well. I'm just one of those person. one of those people, I mean. I tend to get a little bit deeper in thought. Okay, so some bushes, tiny trees and stuff. Okay, I need to not to dab. So this is one shape right here. This is another shape right there. Another. Think of them as shapes rather than individual trees. Otherwise, if I start to dab too much, it's going to look bad, and I don't want that. Okay. Okay, a little bit of warmer, lighter color. It's probably dirt or whatever, and just get those in there. Try to follow the shape, the form of the mountain there. And somewhere down here, I haven't worked on the house yet. I'm hoping that when I put the house in, everything will kind of tie things together. Okay. All right. Step back a little bit. Let's look at the painting as a whole. Okay. I'll probably glaze over some of it. It looks a little bit too flat, but I think I'll wait for it to dry first. All right, let's work on the house a little bit now. Nice and dark roof here. Okay, I'll zoom all the way in, but honestly, I am not going to paint too much detail on this. Be as simple as I possibly can. Now paint around that triangle there. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Again, minimize your brush stroke. Okay, as much as possible. A little bit of neutral tint. Make it darker. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Since the house is really dark, I hope that it will push the mountain back. And I'm gonna use a lot of burnt sienna. I see I'm just gonna use burnt sienna straight out. Okay, so that white window frame, I will loosely paint around it. Loosely. Leave some white for the edge of the roof. And here we go. This is number 12. I'm mostly using the tip when I'm painting something detailed. I have smaller brush, but I usually try to force myself to use a bigger brush to avoid to hinder myself not to paint with so many little shapes. Okay, that little thing right there. And okay, got that house there. Okay, this roof can be a little bit darker. I'm gonna drop some dark in while I still can, while it is still wet. Okay. Oh, now that I zoom in the photo, there's also like a little shack right next to it, but it's really hard to see though, so I'm just gonna suggest it like this, and some of it behind trees anyway, so okay. I think there's a tiny little chimney here. There we go. And then let's move on to that little hut right next to it. Just, yeah, keep that control then in. Okay, there's a little tiny edge that is dark. Have that get in there. Okay. I'll keep this house a little bit lighter. Now, I'll be careful not to touch that, otherwise the dark will just blend in. And I don't really want that right now. Okay. It should be a little bit darker too. Here we go. Seeing that house definitely helped us out quite a bit. All right, let's just start to do. I think this is dried enough for us to start working on it. I am going to paint a little bit of here actually. I'm debating how much I should actually paint, because I do want to keep the snow relatively light and bright. So if I do too much, it's really not going to help. So just maybe a few stroke like that. Yeah, the color looks a little bit, the color doesn't look as good in the GoPro, and I am trying to fix that. Yeah, let me just switch it back. Yeah, the color on this one looks a lot better. The GoPro looks really yellow for some reason. They're sharing the same input, so the color correction they're sharing the same color correction. So while this camera right now I'm using, the color looks pretty good, the one on the GoPro looks absolutely horrible. So it's one of the reasons I'm going to do some upgrade on that. Okay, so I think that little bit of texture is good enough. Okay, and let's paint some tiny little bushes here. Okay, I think I actually need to make it a little bit greener. Just a little bit. Everything feels so warm. Like, even though it's green, it's still a very warm green. Okay, and so something like this, a little bit of bushes here and there, maybe here, and some bigger ones down here. As we come down, it's getting closer to us, so make some of it a little bit bigger. Now I know it's in the shadow. I'm going to do a glaze over a little bit later just to make things a little bit easier for myself. Okay. A little bit cooler here. Okay, so side of my brush, pull up, pull up, pull up. Okay, now I need to be careful. They are too evenly spaced and that looks weird. So I need to start to kind of break them up a little bit. Okay, so okay. Some more down here, a little bit bigger as well. Okay. 62 people watching right now. Thank you guys so much. I am really honored that you want to spend the late hour with me. Okay. Okay. Some tiny grass or tiny dead tree brand, whatever, just some of it, not. Okay, and little bit of stuff. I'm kind of populating little grass, little dirt, sand, whatever. Okay. Okay, now I'm actually going to mix a nice cool color. Some of this are actually shooting the shadow on the sideways, so I'm gonna try to do that here. Not down here, it's gonna be a big shadow shooting across, so just some of the little stuff here. The pile of the snow here is casting shadows. Hi Eric. Hi Gigi, hi Maina. Thanks man, your photo definitely is a huge inspiration. Again, I strongly encourage you guys to check out Mukul's work. If you like animals and wildlife, he does some amazing Pacific Northwest. And he's a TEDx speaker as well, apparently. Alright. Feel free to post your website here in the chat, Mukul, if you want to. Okay, so I'm giving a little bit shadows for the bushes here. Okay, so they looks, there's some volume here, but it's very simple. It's just light and dark. I'm not even doing like transition or anything because stuff are so tiny. It's not really relevant. Okay, okay. What do you think? Should we do elk? Let's do that. Hello from Oregon. Hi, Jeremy. Okay. Let's do that elk there. Now let me put this guy up. Just for reference, the lighting is different and I don't even think I'm gonna intend to do the lighting that much. The lighting is actually opposite the photo reference, so I need to improvise. Okay, but okay, just kind of neutral warm gray here, and I think, again, I think for this guy here, the most important thing is the antler. I almost said antenna. Is the antler. I get that in, and I think you're in business. Okay, here. And it's okay to break things up just a little bit. You don't have to paint a continuous line. Actually, if you try to paint continuous line, your line is gonna probably look kind of squiggly, and that's not going to look that good actually. Okay. I'm gonna have like a warmer, lighter value for this guy here. Oops. My brush is too wet. You can tell by this huge bead right here. Yeah, a lot of time when you just wash your brush can hold a lot of waters, and when that, in that case, you want to watch out for that. Okay, you want to dry your brush a little bit. Okay, so some dark here, and again, I am not going to paint too much detail on this guy. It's not the point of the painting here. I mean, I'm not saying it's not the point, it's just not, it's working together with the painting. So okay, I'm just gonna, I think the important thing is that back leg here. It goes out like that and it comes back down. Not an expert on elk, but their leg is similar to horse, and I did paint horse a few times before, so I'll try to get that in here. Okay, a little bit lighter value. I'll just fill that in. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that for now. Okay, I'm gonna make that ear just a little bit more prominent. Okay, I want to make the dark here a little bit darker. So you can probably tell, like, the important thing is actually just the silhouette. There's not a lot of lighting stuff going on. There's a little bit of light transition in here, and that's about it. Okay. Here, I think that's good enough. I don't want to overwork that. And let's see here. And I'll paint one here, grazing. I actually don't know what is it in the snow that they can eat, but apparently they always find something to graze on. Same thing as horse here. So there's one day it's snowing in Redmond, and I go out and take some photos, and I see horses just like they're all grazing. None of them are raising their head. And I was really wondering, what in the world are they grazing? This pretty. Maybe they find something in the snow, like some food underneath the snow, or some grass, whatever it is. I have no idea. Okay, and another one here. Watch out for the neck. Okay, the neck is straight. I mean, in that distance, straight. The back. Okay, one elk in the front, two back there grazing, and there's these two that are just super small. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tiny elks. Maybe if I give them a little bit antler, people will think those are elk too. Or just weird looking bush. Okay. Well, can give it a little bit of shadow. So just so that. Just a little bit of suggestion. You don't need it too many of them. Okay, let's zoom it out, see it in the whole picture. Okay, now 2 things left to do. The mountains, I'll do a little bit more glazing on it, and then the foreground. So I will just do the mountain first, because I want to keep you waiting for the foreground. Okay. But not too much though, it's just a little bit of purple bluish color. How long have I been painting? For watercolor, about 3-4 years, I'm not sure, but I'm painting with other medium before that. So I paint with oil and acrylic during my college year, and after I graduated, I paint with Photoshop for quite a bit of time because of work and other stuff. And it's kind of just in recent years, this 3 years or so, 3-4 years, I starting to paint in watercolor and just kind of fall in love with the medium. And then, yeah, I said this story so many times, but I've working with digital medium for so long. I feel like painting with traditional medium is kind of a relief for me. It just gave me a experience that digital work just can't. I mean, I still do digital work. I mean, I do charcoal and oil painting with Procreate, but that's as traditional feeling in digital as you can get to me. Okay. Some clean water. I'm just gonna. Okay, so I think this is. Okay, so I think this is good enough. I don't want to overwork on that. Okay, I think I paint too much here. I'm gonna wet it and just blot it out. Okay. Alright. Okay, last but not least, I'm going to paint a shadow kind of across that. Okay, so gotta be nice and blue to keep things consistent here. With a tiny touch of cobalt turquoise, so give it a little bit of green shade to it, but mostly just cobalt blue. Let's do a test here, okay? A little bit darker. So I'm gonna add a little bit of ultramarine blue. Okay, there we go. More intense. Just hold your breath. Just do it. Okay? Don't be afraid of it. The more you hesitate, the more the wash is gonna turn dirty, and you don't want that. Do it, and then just let it settle. Okay. I'll raise this a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. Okay, I'm thinking I'm gonna add something here just to keep this a little bit more interesting, so it's not like one stripe here. I can have something across. Now as I put that in, the light pops. How much? This is, I don't know, 300 gram? I am not sure. I think it's 300 gram. Okay, we're pretty much at the end here. I think just a few things left to do. Like some of the area I want to make it just sit a little bit better. So I'm gonna mix a nice dark brown color, and I'm just going to get a little bit darker here so it has a little bit more clear cut there. Okay, I think this is it. I think that's about it. I hope you guys like this one. This is certainly a fun painting to do. And again, thanks Mukul for his wonderful photo reference for me to work with. And again, check out Mukul's work, mukulsoman.com. I think I will again share his website in my description. And again, Happy New Year. I'm happy that you guys are here. Here we go. I'll show my face. Hopefully I don't look too tired after painting. So thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you like this painting. I will see you guys again very soon. I'll make some more videos and some more coffee talk and stuff. So if you're new here, subscribe and like the channel and share the video if you want to, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.